Okay, we're going to talk about getting a reserve price, not a reserve price, a guide price wrong. It does happen in the industry. We're going to talk about 2 Lewis Street, Balgall Heights. Stay tuned.
Oh,
How are you?
top of the morning.
Now, before we start, I want to show you this.
What's that?
Look, 2 microphones
Yeah.
and a receiver. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Up at the conference at REC, and everyone was using these, so I bought one. So we can
And
now do our lives with this.
Is it StreamYard friendly? StreamYard's what we do all of our streaming from, guys.
No.
That's
Yeah,
the catch.
unfortunately. I know, but if you're doing a social media, like just purely one-to-one social, this is cast to 8 different channels. So we use StreamYard, and this struggles with StreamYard. But when you're just doing it to Facebook alone or Insta alone, this is a great little thing. It's a DJI. Yeah, it's sort of like a big AirPod case. It's cool.
Yeah, wow. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've got plenty of views. Looking fresh after the movement.
Luke, how'd Luke know? I think we did the morning minutes last night. There you go. We'll talk about moo-moos.
Good night.
And did you?
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that. We were doing, Lisa and I were doing Novak news last night, and walking past, the guy goes, "Novak's," and he was. Anyways, we're chatting to him, and I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm from the professionals." He was the CEO of the professionals.
Wow.
Nice
there you
guy.
go.
Yeah. But we met him in New Zealand previously, and he was just walking through the streets. A good event. But let's get into the topic. Sorry, first of all, Billy, hey, how are you today? You well?
Yeah, brilliant. 10 out of 10. Reason being,
Solid.
Great auction over the weekend at number 2 Lewis Street, Balgalla, a beautiful home. I'm going to just give you a couple of photos so you can see what we're talking about. Here's the top of us for 2 seconds, but it's
Here we go.
It was an entry-level home to Balgalla Heights. That's it from the outside, and what you see from the outside is what was inside too. It was very original, needed a bit of work, even just to make it livable, and an equally just as great knockdown opportunity for for something down the line. So that's kind of the in and the outside.
Yep, it's an OG property. It's original. Now, what's difficult here, and I find it it's hard to talk about, guys and girls, because these guides are a very, very sensitive topic with buyers. Why? Because they are emotionally engaging, connecting. They are spending money on building inspections. They are spending time turning up. And sometimes there's 2 types of guides going wrong. One is misleading, deceptive. So agents put a super low price on a property, get bucket loads of people through. They break people's hearts that miss the property. One successful buyer gets it. False, misleading, and deceptive conduct. The second, getting it wrong, is you're plain old just cannot read that market. It's the market is changing. There are no comparisons in that current market to support evidence in that market to support that price that you're guiding. So that being the case with Balgalla Heights.
Yeah, it's always a tricky one when you're doing a knockdown, when you're selling a knockdown home, because interestingly enough, particularly for a suburb like Balgalla, there's such limited stock in the first place. It's really hard to put the pin on it. But
yep.
What made this one even harder was initially when we brought the property on for sale, the types of groups we thought we were going to get through were people that just wanted a project. It was pretty much land value, as Lisa said. We thought 99% of people would just want to do a knockdown rebuild. But as we started to run that campaign, we had a lot of people actually asking, do you think you can use the 4 walls and the roof just for a year or two? Happy to patch it up and do a bit of work. But that will sort of give us enough time to sort of save up before we go do that project. So that, I think in itself, built a lot of competition and obviously interest into this home right from the get-go.
I can see why people get upset, and we have been investigated previously on one where there was it went for, the price guide was 1718, and it went for 2829, and it was one of the most worst condition properties, decrepit property, and it was a semi in a area where there's all houses. There was no, to find another semi that sold in the area was like a needle in a haystack. Never mind find a comparison or 3 comparisons, which we're required to do, very hard. The result of that investigation from Fair Trading was good job, well done. We have to investigate. So they've got to go from A to Z and find out, where it's gone wrong, why that complaint has formed, and if there's evidence to support that complaint, and it was a no. So it's sometimes it's just hard, and I think I do feel for buyers, because they're like, oh my God, that was the guide, and it's even worse when you don't give a guide. That's the worst bit. So if you're the agent that turns around and says, not giving you a guide, full stop, it really upsets people. So if you don't have evidence of a property like that that's sold in the last month or 2 or 3, and you're not giving a guide at all, if you really want to upset the market, that does it even more.
And yeah, there were people that for this particular home were just walking in and out saying it's going to be way too much work as is, and it's not quite what we're looking for. But I think there was obviously a lot of interest there. So that one was the one that we were just talking about. That was Tongue Street, Waverton, a little while ago back in COVID. But 57 registered bidders. Yeah, it was just bonkers. How do you think you navigate this as a buyer? That's, I think, where we can add value this morning.
How do you what?
How do you think you can navigate this as a buyer? Like, how can you it's really hard to pick the play, because even as an agent, in this case, like Lewis Street, we didn't know where it was going to go. There were no offers prior to the auction. We were purely reliant on the buyer feedback. We did increase our guide at the start of the campaign once we got a building and pest inspection done, which was better than anticipated. But how can you sort of read this?
Same way the agent does. You can look at the price guide, the things that are sold in the area. That particular property, I think we also tried to work back what a built example was selling for. So like the house across the road, down the road, like a house triple the size, a little bit older, was a sort of 3.8, 3.9. A nice home was like a 4.5. So we sort of, I guess you strip back what it would cost to build something like that. The next door neighbour. There you go. That's a good. There's your answer. Lisa's running the show. What does that say?
Yeah. So your next door was selling sort of high 3s, low 4s on a block double the size, had views and a livable home. And then I guess if you work back, looking what it would cost to build that type of home, then you kind of find yourself in the middle. So that's kind of how you can justify that price guide. But yeah, it was an interesting auction to watch. Obviously, it's going to be a beautiful home for our lucky purchasers. But I know there are a lot of buyers in the market at the moment that are sort of disheartened by losing out and seeing it skyrocket above.
And I do have to say, guys and girls that are watching, it's a changing market. And what I mean by that is, like, we've been pushed around like rag dolls as agents. I have never seen the property market correct as violently as it corrected
Yeah.
in my 30 years of being more than 30 years of being a real estate agent. So when when you're reading the play or reading the market, it's very, very hard. So we've just come off a market where it's corrected -20%, and now we're dealing with lots of buyers coming through open houses, big going over the guides. Properties are selling over the guides, and it's just hard to read that place so quickly as well. So even when you're looking at comparisons that are back 1, 2, or 3 months ago, the market's moved again, and you're sort of reading that, going, well, I don't know. So and then the lack of stock makes it hard to read the market. So, and again, if agents are feeling that, you can certainly guarantee that buyers are feeling that as well.
Yeah, definitely. It is out there. I think the nice thing with property is we are all working with the same data though. So it's what the agent can see, the buyers can see, and in an auction sort of process, it's the market speaking. It's out in the public domain. So where it organically gets built up to on the day is we couldn't envisage it flying that high, but yeah, good result of course. Very happy for the vendors, and it's going to make a stunning home.
Big time. Did you just scratch when I scratched?
No.
I just went like that. You went like that. I thought I was doing a sign to you. You're doing a sign to me.
It's like a parrot.
Well, that's it. So that's Balgala. That's price guides. It's a contentious, sore topic, not just with buyers but with real estate agents. If you do want to report a price guide that you do feel has been incorrectly placed on a property, you've always got New South Wales Fair Trading to report to, and they will, if they think there's evidence there or enough complaints, they'll open up an investigation against the agent. It costs you nothing to make the complaint, and they will issue fines against agents if they are acting in a false, misleading, and deceptive conduct. I.e., there's plenty of comparisons at 1 million, and the agent's is guiding 500,000. That's definitely falsely misleading, deceptive. They will get fined thousands of dollars, even loss of license. That's a show.
That's the show. Have a good day.
Boom. See you, bud. Take care.
Bye.